Good morning, dear students. Today we shall learn about the Great Northern Plains. This plain is one of the most extensive stretches of the alluvium in the world, and the fertile land extending across 7 northern states. From Great Northern Plains we find its extensive plain lies to the south of the northern mountains. The length of the plain is about 2,400 km and the width varies from 240 to 320 km. Its width increases from east to west. It covers an area of over 7 lakh square kilometer. So at the same time, they are formed mostly by the depositional process of the Himalayan and Vindhyan rivers. These rivers deposit enormous quantity of sediments deposited along the foothills and floodplains. And let's see about the different types of plains. The first, the Babar Plain. So it has gravels and unassorted sediments deposited by the Himalayan rivers. The porosity of this plain is so high that most of the small streams flow over this region disappear. It lies to the south of the Shivalik from west to east. It with about 8 to 15 km. It's wider in the western plains than in the east. So this plain is not suitable for cultivation. So next we will see about Terai tract. So it's dampness, thick forest and rich wildlife. All this we can see in this. This tract lies to the south of Babar Plains. The width of this belt is 15 to 30 km. The Terai is wider in the eastern parts of the Great Plains, especially in Brahmaputra Valley, due to heavy rainfall. In many states, the Terai forests have been cleared for cultivation. So let's learn about Bangar Plains. The Bangar land lies below the flood limits of the rivers. This soil is dark in color, rich in humus content, well drained and useful for agriculture. So the Bangar represent the upland alluvial tract of the Great Plains of India formed by the older alluviums. Let's learn about the Khadar Plains. The Khadar tract are enriched by fresh deposits of silt every year during rainy seasons. And the Khadar land consists of sand, silt, clay and mud. So delta. So what do you mean by delta? Usually when river flows in between, if it has any such rock or any raised landform, automatically it divides into two, and the middle part of it, wherever we find many different places are there, that forms a triangular shape, that we call it as delta. And whatever place comes over there, the people who live over there, they get fertile soil, and by which they can grow crops, and it's very good for agriculture. So here we learn one of the delta plains here. It covers about 1.9 lakh square kilometer in the lower reaches of the Ganga river. It's an area of deposition as the river flows in this tract sluggishly. The deltaic plain consists mainly of old mud, new mud and marsh. So let's learn about peninsular plateaus. So you all know what is the meaning of plateaus. It's a raised land but table-like top. So here we'll see this is the largest physiographic division of our country. It covers an area of about 16 lakh square kilometer. It's an old rocky plateau region. So about they say about Aravalli Hills, which marks the northwestern boundary of the plateau region. Its northern and northeastern boundaries are marked by the Bundelkhand upland, Kaimur and Rajmahal Hills, and Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Already you have learnt in the previous classes also, last year too. So about that it said the western and the eastern boundaries respectively you find. The Western Ghats are always, it is continuous mountains we find it, whereas the Eastern Ghats are not so continuous. The altitude of a large portion of the plateau is more than 600 meters from mean sea level. The peak of Animud is the highest point in the plateau. Its height is about 2,695 meters and is located in Animalai. The general slope of this plateau is towards east. So let's learn more about this. This region lying over there to the north of the Narmada is called the Central Highlands, and the region lying to the south of Narmada is called Deccan Plateau. So, Narmada and Tapti are the two rivers situated to the south of India's flow westward. Their movement towards west is due to the presence of a rift valley in the region. So, let's learn what is Central Highlands. The Central Highlands extend between the river Narmada and northern Great Plains. So let's see. The part of the Central Highlands which extends to the east of Malwa Plateau is known as Bundelkhand, and its further extension is known as Bangelkhand. The eastern part of the Central Highlands, which lies in the northeastern part of the Indian Plateau, is known as Chota Nagpur Plateau. So it covers Jharkhand and some parts of Odisha, West Bengal, Bihar and Chhattisgarh. And they are very rich in mineral resources. And let's learn about Deccan Plateau. It is one of the largest part of the plateau region of India. One of the sides of this triangle is made by the line joining Kanyakumari with Rajmahal Hills, and this line passes through the eastern Ghats. The second arm is marked by the Satpura Range, Mahodaya Hills, Maekal Range and the Rajmahal Hills. The third arm is marked by the Western Ghats. The area of this plateau is about 7 lakh square kilometer, and the height ranges from 500 to 1000 meters above sea level. So Anaimalai is sort of 3 junction of the Anaimalai range. So what are those? We'll see. Cardamom Hills and Palani Hills. Kodaikanal is a beautiful hill resort situated on the Palani Hills. So Eastern Ghats run from southwest to northeast, form the eastern edge of this plateau. This range is also called as Purvadri. And we'll see the Eastern Ghats join the Western Ghats at the Nilgiri Hills bordering Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The Eastern Ghats are not continuous like the Western Ghats. So we find many beautiful hills and also some beautiful mountains which are good for vegetation, and many medicinal plants are available there. So about the vegetation we'll learn in the later lessons, and in this lesson, earlier students, you have already learnt about the great Himalayas, and also the previous lessons you have learnt about the land and water frontiers, and about the location and extent of India, and all the political divisions you have learnt. So in the upcoming lessons you will be learning about the Indian desert, the great Indian desert, which we also call it as Thar Desert. So in the next class I'll teach you about that. So today, students, you have learnt the Great Northern Plains, and that even Deccan Plateau also. So thank you.